How did you find yourself in Burkina Faso, Nakamtenga, and how did the Yennega project come about?
Actually, my parents have been working in the aid sector my whole life. So I've lived in different countries. So first in Zambia when I was little, then in both Congos, and then I came to Burkina Faso when I was 11 years old. And it was because of the work of my parents.
What is the Yennega Progress project about? What has been done so far?
We started Yennega Progress over 20 years ago, actually in 2001. It's in a village called Nakamtenga where I've been a lot since I was little. And the women in the village, they came to me and they asked me to start a preschool. So we started with the preschool, but we saw really soon that it was not enough. Because if you have women working there and they don't have their basic needs covered, there's so many other things you have to do around. So the project just grew and grew and grew to other sectors. So that was actually the basics of why we started. So what we learned from the beginning was that first of all you have to have your basic human needs covered, because otherwise you can't take the next step in development. And then it's never enough to have just one activity. So if we have the preschool, there must be a good school to go to after that. And if you have been to school, you have higher education, you have to have professional trainings, you have to have a job to go to. But then that's not enough either, because you have to have water, you have to have energy, you have to have healthcare, you have to have a functioning food security system, you have to have transportation, logistics, everything is needed. So that's why we created like a micro municipality, actually, everything that's supposed to be there. And our point is that this is not something that should be done by NGOs. But as we are small and we are an NGO, we can test things and see that it actually works. And when it's working, we want to spread this further. But we want our partners to be the local government, because we believe that the Burkinabe local administration is the ones who's supposed to work with this. So we work very, very closely with them, and we are very clear on we're not there to do their job, but we're there to test things, and when we see that it's working, we can do this together and spread it. And we believe that is the only way to create a long-lasting development that is actually good for the population. Because if there's only NGOs everywhere doing little projects, we don't get the systematic changes that we need to combat poverty and create security.
How or where do you get your financial resources to implement a project in Nakamtenga, and what support do you need?
Right now, most of the support we get is actually from Sweden, because I am in Sweden. So we get support from private people, but also from enterprises. So a lot of enterprises, they want to work with us within their own specialities. So if we want to work with solar energy, we go to companies who's experts in that, so that we can make sure that we get the right expertise and resources to do what's the best on the market right now. But we also work with other countries, and we have activities in Burkina Faso that also gives us money. So little by little, we also get more support from the local government when they have the possibilities, and we believe that is the long-term goal.
Without long-lasting peace in Burkina Faso, your work in Nakamtenga would not be possible. Burkina Faso recently had a military coup. Did this negatively affect your work?
Yeah. For a very, very long time, Burkina has been very peaceful. So it's only the last years that has been troublesome. And I try to see it from the positive side. So maybe it's even good that we have the military coup. I don't know if I'm supposed to say this in public, but because I think there's the world is not what it should be, and I think we have old set rules that must be changed. We have international relations that are not good for all countries. So if we listen closely to what our it's called IB, the president of Burkina Faso is saying is that he's using the same rhetorics as Sankara during the 80s, and that's actually about standing on your own feet, getting your own country working, and that is about. He was talking about consommer burkinabé, means you have to consume locally, you have to build something from the ground, and not to be dependent on other people. And I think that is. It's the truth. So actually, we want to collaborate with anyone, and I think it's beautiful to be able to share, and that should be peaceful. But you should also, it must be a fair relation, and it must be an opening for peace and for growing your own strength from within. So I'm not sure that this military coup must be seen as something negative, but can actually be the change that we need.
Thank you so much.